No, it shouldn't fall.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Alrighty, well, I guess we're done goofing around, so...
Goofing around, not dropping anything. Maybe some beats.
Alrighty, welcome to another Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
Kind of got that jingle in my head now. Only it's not Friday; it's Tuesday.
Which beat? Which jingle?
You remember back in the day, the TGIF?
Yeah.
Yeah, that jingle for the TGIF.
TGIF. Only thing I remember when I saw TGIF, I expected those shows like Boy Meets World, Fresh Prince, Family Matters.
Well, give it a few days. Give it a few more weeks. We'll be able to watch at least Boy Meets World.
Oh yeah. You're making me happy again. Glee in my face.
Alrighty, so welcome to another night with Scuba and The Ry.
Ry guy, it is.
So how you doing, Ry?
I am swell, good and gravy, all the stuff in between. Maybe some garlic mashed potatoes, because that does sound good.
That always sounds
Good in the hood. But, you know, some fun times, good times, busy times. It is, for,
Yeah, it's just playing with the buttons.
playing with the buttons. But for us college students, this is midterm week.
Oh, midterm week?
But I have one class and I already finished it, so I'm good.
Oh, that's good.
It was an essay, midterm essay.
Anything... What was the topic?
Well, the midterm essay basically should combine the first semester into it, so we had to reference material that we've done and put down a plan for our e-portfolio. So, which my e-portfolio is going to be focused on my improvement as a writer from the first semester to last.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's right. You were telling me about that.
yeah. Going to analyze about 9 projects and papers and then give a reflection on each one.
Sounds tedious.
Tedious, a lot of reading, reviewing, but it's cool when you go back to look about some of the topics that I've researched, and a lot of them dealt with, technology, video games, or something in society. You were part of a few of those projects.
Oh, yes, I remember.
So,
many times with that.
Oh, yeah. 2 or 3 of them, but yeah, it's going to be fun when it comes together.
Oh, that's good. Let's see.
That's just the tip of the iceberg for the weekend.
Oh, yeah. Busy weekend?
Fun stuff. There's a lot of fun stuff going on. Friday was another team outing at work.
Okay.
I only did one part of the half because the only half that I cared about was the barbecue. Pierce's barbecue in Williamsburg.
Oh.
So you know.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that and Mission Barbecue are like my top 2.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else over the weekend?
Other than that, moseyed around the outlets, because I'm a shopper, so I do that. And Saturday was another trip to Wegmans. That means broke as a joke.
Oh, boy.
Because what happens you walk, you have a list, and then the list times 2. Because you see things, and you're like, maybe I can cook this, and cook that, and cook this, and then, sure enough, you have enough food for the week.
Fair enough. Anything else?
Other than that, just a very simple weekend. Like I said, getting that midterm out the way so it could be a pretty smooth sailing week for the most part.
For me, it was a company convention.
So I saw
you remember those
on
days.
The interwebs.
Yes.
It was very, when you told me they moved the convention to the fall, it kind of made me go, huh. But you explained why.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was the consensus was they wanted to do the convention in the fall because be closer to the start of season, yada yada yada. So, it wasn't bad. Last year we did it in Norfolk.
Okay.
This year we went back to the convention center in Virginia Beach.
Where was it in Norfolk last year?
The Hilton in Norfolk.
Right.
No, with the Grand and the whatnot. Wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I mean, for several people, that was their first convention. But this year we went back to the Virginia Beach Convention Center. That was fun. There was probably did a lot of helping out behind the scenes.
Okay.
I didn't actually sit through any of the breakouts and stuff because I was there to help out behind the scenes.
Oh yeah. Well, those breakouts always turned into a yell fest anyway.
Well, not so much. I mean, there were a lot less this year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, normally we'd have like the whole upstairs broken up into rooms and everybody. Nope, 4 rooms. That's it. 4 rooms, 4 breakouts per block. So
Well, at least they kept it focused and straightforward. It sounds like.
Well, I mean, new leadership, new approach to it. So overall, it wasn't bad. Got to see some familiar faces with our favorite vendor. She and her cohort were in town.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, it's always fun. And actually Saturday did the convention. It was the last day of convention. While I was waiting for stuff to go on, there was also happens to be the SGK gun show.
Yeah, my dad did mention about the gun show.
Well, you know, our one of our other former coworkers, he and his dad were there.
Oh yeah, I can probably guess who it was.
Yes. Yeah. But Velik and his dad and his daughter were there.
That was he doing the go arounds and?
Yeah, he was doing the go arounds on both sides and kind of hanging out. But went there to check it out. I realized that when I would go to the gun show years ago, I would go and I would look, I'd look at some of the various things. Of course, I'd spend a lot of time looking at the various rifles and firearms because, some of them look really cool.
Yeah.
And then looking at a lot of the historical pieces. Like, some of the amount of quality that's gone into some of these older pieces. Like, I remember seeing one that was like a bolt-action rifle, but the wood stock was like a tiger maple, so it had this really pretty striping pattern to it. It's like, there's a lot of care in that. Now, 2 years into playing Airsoft, go to a gun show, I'm looking at completely different things.
You have your eye on the prize. A different kind of prize.
A different kind. It's like I'm looking at accessories, I'm looking at scopes, I'm looking at sights, I'm looking at... things for like trying to do a period piece kit.
Yeah.
Because there are people who go out to Balahac that I've seen on several occasions. I've seen Vietnam era. I've seen World War One, World War Two. Yeah. Russian, German, British.
Yeah, they have a good variety of different guns and different eras when you go to those.
Well, it's not so much the guns are cool too because you get your main one. But the big thing is the attire. It's like somebody rolling up in World War One attire and using a relatively period accurate airsoft gun.
That would wet your whistle right there.
It's very cool to see this, and because you got your reenactors out there. I know a few reenactors, and it's like to see. It's like going out and playing this game, and it's like this is the effort they're pouring into it to do this. Because with Airsoft, we know about milsimmers and wear a modern military kit, but I kind of like the older military kit because you see pictures of it. You gotta ask yourself, okay, how functional really was this?
Yeah.
So I find that very interesting. But Saturday night we went out. I got invited out to go out with our vendor friend. Okay. And told her about the show, so she'll probably listen to this when it comes out, and I'll probably get an email. It's like, you didn't. It was like, yes,
you talked about me.
I did.
Google, Apple, or Spotify. Subscribe today.
Alrighty, we'll get sneaking those plugs in there. I like it.
Shameless but beneficial.
It works. But we went out. Turns out it was her birthday.
Happy birthday, vendor.
Yep. And so we started off at Murphy's at the oceanfront.
That's a good place to start.
That's a good place to start. Okay. With the campfire there, with the little big old fireplace, and sitting there had a couple of beverages, and then when everybody arrived, it was okay. She wanted to do karaoke for her birthday. It's like, all right, so we rolled over to another local place called Wannabes.
Oh yes.
And we rolled up in there. At about 12:30, I went home.
Yeah. You're like, it was like, this is the medicinal line, I go left.
Well, no, I hung out there for a little bit. I hung out till about 12:30.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I got to go home. Because I got to get up in the morning and I got to do things.
Yeah.
Because I have D&D games Sunday. And it was really fun hanging out outside of work with several coworkers and these vendors, which have, over the last several years, built a relationship with. Plus, they're out of Seattle, Washington. So, hey, I'm a Seahawks fan.
Go Seahawks.
So, got to chat about that and promote the show. But, yeah, that was the majority of my weekend was convention. Went to the convention center on Friday. Stayed there till from 7:30 to like 6 o'clock. And then Saturday, again, 7:30 till about 6 o'clock. It's just like... And then going out Saturday night till about midnight.
Yeah, party time.
Yeah, I was quite tired when I got home.
I was like, there's a bed, there's a couch. I think I'm going to just lay down.
Yeah, I'm just going to lay here. So.
Clap on my back.
Anything else from the weekend? No?
Well, me and my girlfriend went to her uncle's birthday party.
Oh, how'd that go?
It was very, very fun. It was a Filipino party, so you expect a lot of dancing, some
the
karaoke.
Big 25-course buffet?
Yeah.
Or am I being... I don't want to come off stereotypical. All of my Filipino friends I've had, it's like, you go over there, if you want to go over there hungry.
Yeah. You make sure that your appetite is big, because there is endless array of different variety of foods.
And then when you think you're full, they'll still give you more food to eat.
You better take some home, because if you don't, they will chase you down and throw a plate at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta bring some food, if there's a lot.
That's good.
Unlimited.
I've tried a few things, and it's like there's definitely some things I really enjoy. There are some things maybe I just need to have it home cooked versus that one fast food place that serves Filipino food. Mm-hmm. Remember the one I'm talking about? I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
Jollibee?
Yes, Jollibee.
Yeah.
I'm not too crazy on how they prepare it, so maybe I just need the home-cooked version.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of places around Virginia Beach and Norfolk and Chesapeake that can give you the straight home cooking. I have to take you around.
Well, yeah, actually, there's a local place called...
Myanmar?
No, it's right across the drawbridge here. Sunrise.
Okay.
It's a small little kind of hole-in-the-wall place. Yeah. You walk in there, I'm thinking I'm walking in like an old diner scene out in the Midwest, because it's that kind of feel to it. But it's a Filipino-run place. Yeah. So it's like...
Is that the breakfast and lunch?
Yeah. Yeah, it's right up here. I really like going there.
They have it too at Great Neck Road. They have it too at Great Neck Road.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I thought it was only the one.
No, another local chain.
Oh, hi. Small chain, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Roll right into our reviews for the week.
Reviews, starting with Hope Dramon, a very popular villain in the Disney Rogue Gallery.
The villain, in my opinion.
She gets, she had a film that came out in 2014, but this is the sequel to that. So the movie that I went out and reviewed this weekend is Maleficent, Mistress of Evil.
Alrighty, so Maleficent. This is Angelina Jolie.
Correct.
This is the one after she had the surgery, right?
Yes. Okay. So for those of you who know, that she got surgery, so that was related to breast cancer.
Yes, as a means of promoting breast cancer and whatnot, because she had been known in a particular way, and then just like promoting this, so she opted for this surgery,
which was a very admirable task, because it showed awareness for a very big thing out there.
Very much so. Yeah. So now we got then the first Maleficent. This was like a complete respin on the whole Sleeping Beauty mythos.
Yeah, so basically Maleficent, which came out in 2014, was a different spin on the classic Sleeping Beauty.
Okay.
So instead of following the typical fairy tale tropes of the prince, the damsel in distress, and the mustache twirling villain, but in this case it was a female.
Mm-hmm.
They did it from the villain's perspective, but in the 2014 film, instead of what you thought she was, it created a more of an anti-hero, a broken character that was misconstrued of what she really was, because people thought she was evil, but it's just because of certain circumstances that made her that way in the first one.
Okay.
So, but the cool thing is that unlike a lot of the live action films that Disney has done, which some of them have been a straight, shot by shot remake, this one was actually a different twist. They did a different take.
Which
So,
I would appreciate more. I haven't sat down to watch the first one. I know my wife and Skittles have both sat down to watch the first one, and they loved it.
Yeah.
I haven't sat down to it.
Yeah, the girlfriend does. She loved the first one.
Oh.
But it is a very popular, just because of the strong acting from Angelina Jolie and the different, taking a different route on talking about a very famed fairy tale.
All right,
that helped in its wake.
Now, I got to admit, a sequel to this seemed kind of weird.
It does seem kind of weird, and
but
kind
it feels like
far-fetched.
they're stretching the story.
Yeah, so what it is that by creating a sequel to a known fairy tale, it gives them free reign to elaborate on more about the world, about the characters, and give them a way to explain what might happen next.
Okay.
So with that ability of creating your own unique story, you can create more backstory, more character to Maleficent, to Aurora, to all the rest of the world in between, and that's what basically this film starts off. So, as the film starts off, it focuses on Maleficent, played by Angelina Jolie, and her goddaughter Aurora, played by Ella Fanning, and it goes and pushes the relationship to a further extreme, because there's a conflict that gets introduced in the form of a love interest with Prince Philip, who's played by Harris Dickinson.
Okay.
So what makes the film at the beginning a very unique and very gravitating kind of story is the human dynamic between Maleficent and Aurora, because now that they're Aurora's much older, they have a more like a mother-daughter relationship. So now that this love interest comes in, that she has to interact with the human world, the kingdom, and she still has distrust for the humans because of certain conflicts between the human world and the fairy world. So that human dynamic also introduces Queen Ingrid, played by Michelle Pfeiffer.
Now, from what I'm gathering, she was supposed. She is like, you think Maleficent's the villain,
Yeah.
but she's the hero in this story.
Yeah.
So
this
I guess
is
in that Beauty and the Beast fashion of the person who you think is the villain is the hero, and the person you think is the hero is the villain.
Oh yeah. So what it does great is it turns its head on the typical fairy tale tropes, like the first one did in 2014.
Yeah.
And this time it pushes you what you think is evil and what you think is good is completely opposite. So Queen Ingrid is the one that's like deceiving people, is like creating this image that Maleficent is this evil witch that is causing all the problems. So it takes those fairy tale cliches and combines it with dramatic elements of human relationships between the human characters and the fairy characters.
Okay.
And it drives home more of a backstory for Maleficent, because you learn about where she came from. You learn that there are other kind of fairies out there, not just the ones in the moors, but there is another sect of fairies that got driven out of the world.
Okay, well, we don't want to keep going into this and cross that spoiler. It sounds like they did a lot of layering, but so tell me 3 things you liked and 3 things you didn't like.
3 things I liked was the lead character. Angelina Jolie is wonderful as Maleficent.
She steals the spotlight. She steals the screen every time you see her.
Every time she's on the screen, she commands the scene. Her physical mannerisms, astute line delivery, it gives you layering of emotional depth between her and whoever she's interacting. No matter if it's Queen Ingrid or Aurora, you feel that bond, like that clashing of titans between her and the Queen, and that motherly relationship with Aurora.
Okay.
The other dynamic I like is the premise because it further deepens the story. There's a lot of big themes and concepts that they introduce in the first half that create a promising journey for what should happen.
All right.
And just the general idea of, exploring new things with this story, because you don't have material to build upon, you can create your own stuff. So what they create when it comes to the world itself, the moors where the fairy lives, the human world, and where Maleficent ends up for most of the film with the other fairies, it creates a dynamic of world building.
All right, that's 2. What's the third one?
That was 3.
That was 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What didn't
Okay.
what hindered this?
What hindered this film is if you picked up what I was saying, they had a lot of strong themes, strong concepts, and a strong lead, but they don't build upon it. By the time the movie gets halfway, it falls in the trap of style over substance. So there's an overabundant use of CGI, and it focuses on the visuals instead of actually creating creating a world where you can be engrossed in by the characters, by the lore, by everything in between. So what drags it down is that all the characters start to fall in the typical fairy tale archetypes. They become one-dimensional, and they just become stale. So they become very obvious of what you expect. What they were trying to get away from, they come back around. So everything you predicted will happen and might happen does happen. So the other thing that really complicates this film, which really bothered me a lot, especially in the latter half, is the tonal shifts. So there'll be like dark moments and then quickly some comedic relief. There was no great transition between something dark, dramatic, or a death between something fully. And there's huge stretches of monologues, so there's huge moments where you're going forward with momentum, and then they spend 20 minutes exposition for, no reason other than, hey, we need to explain this, but they don't go any further but setting a stage for a story. Yeah, they're setting the stage for the next scene, but not going in depth of why. So they just set it and just leave it loose.
Alrighty, so final verdict. Dun dun dun.
Final verdict is there's a lot of great potential with how they are expanding the lore of Aurora and Maleficent and building upon what they created in the 2014 film, but everything gets lost in the array of just creating visual noise on the screen. So they just want to just glitter you with color and hope to grab your attention while they try to hide the flaws of the story and the characters themselves. All the other characters outside Maleficent and Aurora. So at the end, I still think if you're a fan of the character, fan of what Disney's been doing with these films, I think it might be fun for the family, but at a discount rate, so I give it a 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5?
Yeah.
Alright. So that sounds good.
Oh yeah. So it's still there's enough in it to enjoy. It's just once it gets about halfway, they just don't have enough material to keep going.
Alright, so what's the next movie on your viewing list?
The next movie on the viewing list is Zombieland 2.
Oh, that's right. That comes out soon.
Oh, it came out this weekend. I just didn't have time.
Oh.
So this is another, one of those weekends where there's not really a lot coming out, so I'll just sneak Zombieland 2 in.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah. You should come join.
I think maybe we can... Box there. Alright. So, do you have a TV show for us this week?
I wonder, do I have a TV show? Oh, wait. Yes, I do. Thank you. I like the praise. Woo! That felt good right there.
Alrighty. So, what do we have for a TV show?
A different twist. So a lot of TV shows that I have been reviewing have been very dramatic, endearing, live action. This time I'm going down the route of anime. So the series that I will be talking about is on Netflix. It's called Record of Grancrest War. And it's it's an anime that's based on a Japanese light novel series and a tabletop role-playing game from Japan.
That sounds like it's perfect content for us.
Oh yeah. So a lot of the material is built upon amalgamation of the tabletop game and the light novels. So what this focuses on, it focuses on this world where it's ruled by chaos and feuding factions of different lords, and at the central figure of this is Theo Cornado, who's looking to find a way to bring all the kingdoms together, to get rid of chaos and lead into in a world where there's peace.
Okay.
So there's a very basic premise, but the further you go into the series, it gets a lot more elaborate and a lot more depth because there is so much going on in this series.
All right.
On the surface, this anime focuses on a lot of different feuding factions and lords. So you have many different elements coming
Sounds like
into play.
a standard feudal era.
Yeah, it has a feudal. Yeah, it's definitely focused on feudal era. It has a very Game of Thrones type vibe because you have a lot of people that are working together and then will backstab. You have hidden love interests. But what makes this a little bit different is that it mixes in a lot of magic, mysticism, and a lot of like demonic creatures.
All right. So, what's our hero? Is it a singular hero or a group of misfits?
Well, it's a singular hero who's led by Theo Cornado, but like throughout the series, he gains allies.
Mm-hmm.
One of his allies is Saluka, which is the mage that forms a contract with him. So one of the basic ideas in here is that every lord has a contract with a mage, and that mage works for the lord for him to gain, promise and move up the chain of the hierarchy.
So kind of an exclusivity clause.
Yeah, there's exclusivity clause, and you just what makes the anime great is two things. It's the character dynamics between all the different factions, because there's the one thing you know about Japanese anime is that they like to throw a lot of characters at you.
Mm-hmm.
And what will make or break an anime is if you don't give a decent amount of time to give a point to the characters. So if you're just throwing characters in a series just for
to put characters in
just to put characters in there, then the anime is dull and boring, and the color and the fluff and all the little visual noise is not going to mean anything.
Well, that calls back to, I believe it's Edgar Allan Poe's rules of a short story.
Yeah.
Do not introduce an element that is not important to the story.
Oh yeah. So they introduce characters, and like any typical anime, in the beginning everything is very loose.
Okay.
But it's loose on purpose because it's all leading to a point.
It's world building.
Yeah, so they definitely take their time. It's 25 episodes. They take their time in building every little bit
How long
of
is
the
each
world.
episode?
Every episode is about 30 minutes, so a typical anime length.
So about, what was that, 25 episodes, half hour to an hour, so about 12 and 13 hours?
It took me a few weeks to get through because I would watch 2 episodes a night. So, but that world building and giving a point to every single character, no matter if you saw them in episode 1 and then saw them in episode 8 or episode 2 and then episode 5, they all had a point. So when they came back, you know why, you know how, and you know where it's going to lead.
Okay.
The other great thing about this, and you've heard me mention this a few times in pre-shows, is the action. The animation and the action in this series is top notch because it catches you off guard. Because it's another thing that animes do that if they're great is that they'll have you level headed with the drama, with the characters and the closeness, and all of a sudden they'll be like the action will kick in and be like catch you off guard. Heads getting chopped off. It is straight brutal and bloody, like true feudal lord era type of deal. Feudal lord medieval type era. So.
Gotcha. All right. So, record of Grancrest.
Yes, I would definitely give this a 3.5 out of 5.
All right.
It's a very strong anime. It has a lot of depth and layers to it.
And it sounds like it's a nice, hey, I've got a couple. I've got an hour. Let me watch a couple episodes.
I definitely recommend it to any anime fans out there because it will gravitate to what makes anime great, the great things about anime. So
sounds good. I think we can definitely put that down on the list. Okay, so moving on to our next section. our state of game. So, start off with any new updates from your quest across the universe in Pandora?
I did. There is a couple things.
Oh, what's that?
One thing is I did go back. There was I did mention a certain boss that I could not beat.
Yes.
The last time. So
yeah,
I went
it was
and did
cleaning your clock, but good.
Oh yeah, I'd walk in there and I would be like auto death, one shot kill. Yeah. So I was like, I need to buff myself up, get some better weapons and stuff. So I went and did a few side quests and came back. So sure enough, I was able to take him out.
Nice.
And get some really decent gear after that fight. So after I got that gear, I was like, dust off the shoulders. Let's go and jump in a car and do some racing. So
you went from Borderlands to Forza.
Oh yeah. So I went in there, did a few more races. I was kind of surprised on how I did on the rally races. I thought I'd be terrible in the rally races. I was pretty good at those rally races, and I did soup up my Subaru. So it does look pretty fresh.
I kind of like the Subaru in those racing games.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why.
There's a certain from between I only have two vehicles right now. It's a Focus and a Subaru.
Can't you get away from the Focus?
It's a very fun car to drive in racing games, but the Subaru has it's very tight.
Oh, that's right. You didn't have a Focus. You had a Fit.
Fit. The Fit.
You had a Fit back in the day.
Or as my dad liked to call it, the Bug. I don't know why, but that's what he called it. But yeah, I have been using the Subaru more just because it has a more tight steering. So when you're going around those corners really fast, it doesn't just spin out on you.
Okay.
So.
All right.
So those are the two major games I'm playing.
Sweet.
And Division here and there, but those two.
Alright, so I'll add this. Hey, this is why we use Sirenscape for our background and our soundboards.
You are amazing.
So, get that in there. I had one D&D game. It was one of the ones I run.
Okay.
It's I don't even know what this crew is calling themselves yet, but I have it on my calendar as the Airsoft D&D crew. So I have to get some of the party couldn't make it to session because life happens.
Yeah.
Life happens. I get it.
Oh yeah, it happens here. It happens
but
there, it happens everywhere.
I had the majority of the party. So we're sitting there and I'm looking and I'm trying to get my setup going for the session, and it's like I ended up using in D&D Beyond there's a section where like kind of blog posts, and one of those is a encounter of the week.
Encounter of the week. Okay.
This is kind of like somebody wrote it up, put it up. This week, the week of the 16th, it was called The Watchers.
The Watchers. Okay.
So I decided to use this because right now the party, when we last left off, the party had traveled to the city of Neverwinter and were taking a break and resupplying before moving on to the next leg of their journey. Well, in doing so, it was like, okay, you kind of have this crossroads moment where you lay out your various threads for plots and stories and adventures and see what the party decides to do. I happen to have this one where it's like, all right, there's a tower called Stoneheart Tower, and there's a mirror inside.
Okay.
So go and retrieve this mirror. Inquire in the bartender. So go in. Turns out there's this. I on the fly created this bar, which is now called the Rusted Tusk. It is primarily staffed by half-orcs. One of the characters, he hadn't played with us in a while, and so it's like he's a half-orc character. Yeah. He decides to flirt with one of the barmaids.
Okay.
And then after a few successful rolls, convinces her to go upstairs. But because I'm me and because I'm having fun,
you threw a curveball.
Oh yeah, the curveball is like, all right, everybody else roll a perception, and it's like they rolled it. It's like, all right, you guys just kind of see this. This other person standing next to the barkeep. Here's the barkeep mumble under his breath, "Changelings." So then he comes down, and it's like he's a little worn out, and it's like, all right, roll a perception to see. It's like the barmaid comes down as a Goliath instead. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, well, we're having fun with that. So they take this job, and they travel out to this tower.
Okay.
As they get to, so as they're traveling to the tower, so kind of set the scene a little bit more.
This seems kind of.
This tower is set on a cliffside near the ocean or a lake. It's a rickety old tower. It's falling apart. The party comes up and they have this 10-foot wide, 30-foot long bridge.
Okay.
That's 60 feet above the water. They have to cross this bridge. So as they're going to cross this bridge, there's a series of 3 checks.
Yeah.
To make sure they don't fall, because of course this is like a 100-year-old bridge. It's collapsing off the ocean. Well, first character decides to walk across. His character's Nerdin. Yeah, he's a dragonborn blood hunter. Right?
Okay.
He goes to cross. He fails his first check. Or second check. Mm-hmm. Fails the second check. Falls through. And falls to 60 feet. Well, Anna, who happens to be a tiefling with wings, sees this and dives down to try and to rescue him.
Okay.
She doesn't quite make it, so he still hits the water, but it's reduced enough. He takes half the total damage that he would have incurred.
Okay.
Then the rest of the party goes across. Our Warforged character named Delta Uniform Delta Echo.
Okay.
And then we have our half-orc called Spatu. He's the one who hates doors. He's the one, he sees the doors, he just like has PTSD and just destroys it.
That's definitely an odd thing to cause rage, but okay, we'll go with it.
Hey, he's barbarian, half-orc, and it's like when we first meet him, he had a heck of a time with is the door swing in or swing out? Swing in, swing out.
It has knobs.
So then they get across the bridge.
Okay.
And successfully. Then it's their encounter 3 gargoyles who happen to be perched up and guarding this tower.
Okay.
And most the party can understand is this tower is to get away from the tower. But the party doesn't care. Yeah. In fact, Anna and Nerdin were like, yeah, this is probably not a good idea.
Okay.
Spatu sits there, stands by, is like, yeah, I'm just gonna kind of wait and pull out my big old battle axe, and then dude decides he's gonna go in and investigate. So he and the druid, they contracted to join the party, go inside, and they go in. They find this place has been totally ransacked and rotted away because it's exposed. They find the mirror they're looking for. It's a little hand mirror, but it's cracked, and it's got this like ooze seeping out like a.
So that doesn't
like
sound very
No, it's
appealing.
not. It's not cool. It's not cool. So, as they leave and they have this mirror, they have the gargoyles then get in their way.
Okay.
This is where the fight breaks out. And the fight at some point seems very one-sided. And then when the gargoyles finally decide to fall back from the attack, they're sitting there and the party is like, oh no, we're going to finish this.
Okay.
So dude tosses Spatu up to the top of the tower, which is a 60-foot tall tower. 3 gargoyles, all with wings. One of them's trapped by Wildvine.
Okay.
The other 2 are not. And it's like, all right, he's gonna he 1 versus 3, and manages to duck and weave and dodge and start to cause damage. Then Dude finds a way to climb up.
Okay.
So now it's Dude and Spatu on top of the tower. Dude decides to grab one of the gargoyles and just fall back.
Seems like honor suicide going on right there.
Yep. Well, when he hit the ground, it knocked him out.
Okay.
The gargoyle was still alive.
That failed attempt.
All right. And then Spatu's trying to see what's going on after killing one of the gargoyles. The other one just goes, "Nah, push." But Spatu's like, "Can I like?" Spatu finds a way to land on top of the gargoyle that was knocked off the first time.
Okay.
And soon the party has been thoroughly thrashed.
Okay.
And they managed to defeat the gargoyles and recover this mirror. Now, this mirror happened to be corrupted by a Medusa. So when you look at the mirror, it turns you into stone because you see the Medusa's visage.
See, there was some catch with this mirror.
And since the mirror is cracked and not broken,
yeah,
the corrupted magic is kind of seeping out, and it's spreading kind of like like a root or vine system, just everywhere you go. So any living creature that touches it takes necrotic damage, and then has to make a constitution save to be whether or not they get turned to stone.
Okay.
This is important because this is how the session ended.
Okay.
They get back to town. They decide to all get together and hang out at the same tavern. So they go to the one that Anna and Lillian, because Lillian was still shopping in this town.
Okay.
And Bran was still shopping in the town because they were the 2 party members who couldn't make it. But they all go and they all stay at this because Skittles helped me come up with names. So the party is all staying at the Diamond Skunk Hotel Inn and Tavern.
Okay.
Nerdin goes to leave a note for Bran at the Stinky Fish Tavern.
Okay.
And then Dude goes back to the Rusted Tusk.
Okay. A lot of good names out there.
He's going into the Rusted Tusk. As he goes into the Rusted Tusk to talk to the bartender to get the bounty for this mirror, he convinces this bartender to reach inside his bag to get the mirror. Yes, very much, very bad things will happen. And it's one of those moments. I'm predicting that's going to go one way, and no.
Well,
Bartender reaches in, fails the save with a natural 1, and is immediately turned to stone.
that is
Dude sits there, looks around the bar, says, "I own this place now. Do y'all object?" Nobody objects. So now it's like I'm sitting here at the end of the session going, crap. Now I have a party that owns real estate.
Yeah.
And I have to figure out how they're going to keep this real estate. And oh yeah, Dude is using this mirror to build himself a gargoyle army. So I have to make a magic item. But
Okay.
it was a great adventure, great story, because we start off with this blog post.
Yeah.
Here's the adventure. Here's what's up. And the party just went with it.
That's what's so great about playing games like this, because you never really know where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Everything's a roll of the dice, and it's all random. But that's pretty cool. You know, turn to stone and then take over the tavern. It's like, beer is on me, guys.
Yeah, he's like, I'll buy everybody around. It's like, I'm now the owner.
It's like, okay, the story's going in a new direction.
Right? So very much trying to figure out what's going on with that. I'm sure it'll
to the
be...
next adventure.
And to the next one, it is.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed.
All right, as we make our trek back. But that's pretty much it. I didn't play Airsoft this weekend I didn't go out to Balahak this weekend because I was doing convention and this. But I did really have a good game session.
Yeah, that does sound like a very, very fun game.
And I'm trying to take, and I actually made sure I spent the time writing up my notes, because now I have to design and flesh out this tavern in Neverwinter, and then figure out what the party wants to go next. But the next game on the list is Agents of Short this weekend.
See, that's going to be interesting. An interesting session with the agents.
Yeah, the agents is always fun. So. Honestly, this is one of those things that's like, okay, starting this, it was like it was going to be just, it was me and Ry, and that's what it is, and now we've expanded where now we have, y'all are a part of the show too. It's really fun in that sense. Is like it's a group project at this point. So, and if we're not having fun, then we're obviously doing something wrong.
Yeah. Gotta have some fun all along the way.
Alrighty, so where shall we go for our next?
I don't think that's the kind
Someplace
of sound.
other than here. Let's go back to the
I
tavern.
like wolves.
Yeah, let's go chill in the tavern and talk about
Halloween.
something more interesting.
That is definitely going to be the theme for next week. Is
Yes.
all kinds of spooky,
Sure, what?
Spooky and
spooky,
mooky.
creepy, scary. It's going to be fun. I'm going to find all my Halloween stuff.
And we do have at least one article ready for next week.
Yes, we do, which we will talk about next week. What we're going to talk about now is some of our major topic solutions. So let's find another quiet corner.
A little quiet corner so we can go to a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, very much, because I think honestly, everything else we've been talking about, we're just gonna roll right through this. So, how do you want to kick this off? Shall we kick this off with the release schedule, or with the other big news that happened
Let's
last
roll the
night?
dice and see what it lands on. What's it lands on,
I don't
Scuba?
I don't have a D4 on me, so eeny, meeny, miny, 1. Let's just go in order. Mandalorian release schedule revealed ahead of premiere.
Yes, Collider went and dropped article which details the release schedule for all 8 episodes. So it's
It's
not
supposed to be weekly, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's supposed to be weekly, but some of the episodes are dropped closer to each other than other ones.
Oh.
So like episode 1 and 2 are like 5 days apart, and then everything else would be released on a Friday,
Okay.
I think. But the dates are listed there. So we do have the first episode is November 12th, and then 3 days later, episode 2 will drop on the 15th, and then each Friday after that, a new episode will drop until December 13th. And then the next few episodes will drop on the 18th and the 27th. So it'll be a Wednesday and then the last one on a Friday.
Interesting.
But yeah, it does spread it out long enough to where it gives enough time for the show to marinate and build up that momentum to the next episode.
All right. So the next thing we have here is from IGN,
Okay.
and that has to do with Jedi Fallen Order coming out.
Oh yeah. So IGN went ahead and gave a preview for a final preview for Jedi Fallen Order.
When does this release again?
This releases very soon.
Okay.
I believe it releases in the next month, so November, I believe, is when it drops.
Okay. So we're gonna do Fallen Order. What about Fallen Order?
Well, Fallen Order is it is the next big Star Wars game coming out.
All right.
So, and the article goes into you're going to have it's going to be a massive sprawling world. You'll be able to, not only run around fighting and everything, but there'll be secrets, collectibles, and unlockable shortcuts for you and your character to explore. The one cool thing is the fighting mechanics. So there's going to be a lot of mixture of, lightsaber duels and the use of the Force in there.
Okay. So and a lot of this is like we've been wanting
Oh, yeah.
a good Star Wars single player game for a few years, and now we're going to. Looks like based on the tone of this article, looks like we're finally going to get one.
Oh yeah, So this, like it says, there's going to be a mixture of, action, adventure, exploration, and, building upon the lore of what, Star Wars fans are acting to with the novel and the comics. And one thing that I like to see is, like, branching on and building new stories that do not focus too much on the Skywalkers, because I say it all the time, it's a big universe. There's plenty of stories and things to navigate to.
It's nice to have all of these different stories that crisscross and whatnot.
I am looking forward to, being able to fight some of these big boss battles, because they did put up a couple videos of boss battles and they look intense. So it does drop on November 15th. So not too long to go for us.
Nice.
And then it drops on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
Hopefully, if it's on Game Pass, I will be checking that out at launch.
Oh yeah, you can only hope for it to drop, but it
Alrighty.
might at some point.
I guess we got a next thing on our Star Wars bundle here is have you bought your tickets yet for Rise of Skywalker?
I haven't bought them yet. I know they were they put them on sale last night after the trailer.
Well, you might want to hold off because there's that thing.
What thing are you talking about, Scuba?
I'm talking about AMC is doing a marathon of all 9 films.
Oh yeah, that is very true, as reported on Collider. AMC Theaters doing a 27-hour Star Wars marathon leading up into the Rise of Skywalker.
Well, no, it's 27 hours, 21 minutes.
21 minutes, I forgot. Can't leave
Either way,
out
you
that
walk
21
into the
minutes.
theater on the 18th, you walk out on the 20th after you've watched Rise of Skywalker. And here's the catch: if they'll start Rise of Skywalker an hour earlier than everybody else.
Yeah, so if you are brave enough to sit through all of the films again, then you'll be able to get an early viewing for your viewing pleasure.
I did the event when the first Avengers film came out. Yeah. I did the Marvel movie marathon.
Oh yeah, I know you did.
And
I'm curious on not just that one, but I'm curious on the people that actually did the one leading up into Endgame. Yes, that kind of breather is one of those things where it's like, wow.
I gotta tip my hat to those people. You sat there for that.
Yeah, so I meant.
But I probably would do this marathon for Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Yep. Saladin agrees.
Saladin definitely thinks maybe I didn't see.
But here's the catch: if you go to AMC.com, look up the thing. They don't have price listed yet, nor does it appear they have which theaters are having it. I'm fairly confident that our local AMC is going to have this marathon.
Yeah, the two AMCs in the area, I believe, will have it because it'll not only bring a good closure to the saga. It's a good way to make money. There's a lot of Star Wars fans out there, and
actually, I gotta keep going. I gotta check something because I'm trying to remember when's the 20th of December.
The 20th of December, I think it's
after the 19th and before.
It is a Friday, so
it is. Yeah,
we if we hold through to our schedule, we will record We will record an episode on the 17th. And then walk into the theater the next day.
Well, I am taking off the weekend prior, but there is a reason why. But
I'm sure.
Oh yeah, but just to add topping on the cake, they says everyone who attends, quote, will get a commemorative pin and a blanket, end quote.
It looks like they're going to do this in release order, not chronological order.
Yeah. I don't see it in this article, but it makes
trilogy
sense they
first,
would do that.
And then the prequel trilogy, and then this last trilogy. Well, honestly, I would kind of like to go 1 through 9, but there are a lot of that is a healthy debate.
Yeah.
About what is the best watch order.
Well, I mean, if you watch it in the chronological order, you would get a better feeling for the storyline for the most part. But if you watch it in release order, then it's a better feeling of the progression of what you would
the
normally
technology
get.
to make this.
Well, no, not that. It's the progression of what you would know as it's being released.
That's fair.
So chronologically, you would get the actual storyline, whereas the release would give you the line of what you would understand as it's coming.
Yes. So
He doesn't really state how they're doing it, but they are doing a marathon of 9 films.
So we'll have to keep an eye on the AMC.com to check that out. Which all this leads up to what was talked about and released last night. And that was the final trailer for Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That trailer made me feel something, and something great, because what trailers are supposed to do is get you hyped up for whatever film you're trying to watch. They don't try it, and another great thing about a trailer is that they don't try to expose you to everything in the film, but make you think that you've seen everything, but there's so much more.
And this one really goes to a lot of different places, and I am really excited to see how they kind of do this story.
There's a lot of stuff that they put in this trailer. They show the big rebellion happening. They show this other faction
The
of
Empire returning
that it's hinting at of some kind. So it looks like that
scene where they're on like this raging storm over the ocean,
yeah,
and you're seeing a Star Destroyer lift out of the ocean. I'm good.
yeah.
I am so there to check this out.
When they show the armada of the
TIE fighters,
the TIE fighters, and you see just the armada of all the good fighters and the fleet. It's just insane on what to expect, because you really don't know. You feel like you can figure out what's going to happen, but you can tell if you know anything about Star Wars trailers. There's a lot of red herrings. So what you might think is going to happen is going to be completely opposite of what is going to.
Yeah, I mean, after I was kind of on the fence about the marathon until I saw the trailer.
So after watching the trailer, how prominent do you think the Emperor is going to have in this film? Because it feels like that he's going to have a more stronger, more than just a cameo in this film, just because of the way the feeling and the way the mood is.
This is Palpatine. This is literally the only actor left. Well, I can't say that. He's one of the very few actors left who has had a presence in all 3 sections. He was a fairly prominent presence in the prequel trilogy.
Yeah, well, it makes sense.
He was there in Return of the Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll be there in The Rise of Skywalker. I think he's going to have an equal, if not more, ominous role.
So so just to theorize, what do you think his major role is in this film? Because there is something that he says, that's a narration in it, that mentions about them coming together is their downfall. Theorize, my fan.
I'm kind of jaded on that. Not jaded negatively, but it's the fact that I've watched some of the other stuff where they've really been layering in all these story elements, and having Palpatine the way they do in Rebels, it's there. He's up to something. He has been working on something. And then even if you played Battlefront 2, I mean that single player campaign starts off with somehow he had some contingency plan in the event of his death at the end of Return of the Jedi. So
no matter if you're talking about the new canon and expanded lore, he's had something.
Even in the expanded universe, there was elements of Palpatine returning.
Yeah.
But it also is the fact that there is beyond and beyond. So if you look at the expanded stuff, the Sith left the known universe and operated for millennia in beyond wild space, or beyond the Outer Rim.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to say that there isn't some element of that here. But that whole scene of the dark throne room in the monolith. It's like.
Do you think that's the Sith homeworld?
I don't think it's Caliban.
No. Okay, but you think it's something related to the
I
Sith?
think it's something related. I think it's it's something in Palpatine will have a very ominous role in this, just like he did in Return of the Jedi. Because he was a great, and then seeing the fact that the actor returned to do the prequel trilogy, and then he's coming back for this, and it's like, I'm really excited to see how this goes. So, but that's me. And like I said, after seeing this trailer, I'm on board with doing a marathon. Just to kind of, let's just get this fix out now.
Yeah, get your fix in and do it. But, let's see. You down, Saladin, for the marathon? Thumbs up over there, but I won't be able to because I can't take off. But I'll be there in spirit. Let the force
Well,
carry
that
me.
I also have to look. The thing is, I have to look at is what's going to be the ticket price.
Yeah.
I imagine this is probably going to be an easy $100 commitment for tickets.
$150.
$150?
150 is better than 500 for that box set for Marvel.
That's an apples and oranges, man.
Hey, it's a lesser number.
Let's see, 23 films for $500 that I could watch at my leisure, or a 9-film marathon where I have to sit in the theater.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And just to add, top it on the cake, Rise of Skywalker will be the longest film in the saga.
That was an interesting little tidbit.
Yeah.
When you look at the run times of the various films.
Yeah, when you stack it up as reported on IGN, it ranges anywhere from 120 minutes to 140.
And this will be 150.
This will be 155 minutes. Just
over 2 hours.
Yeah, just 3 more minutes than The Last Jedi.
So, I think it'll be well worth it.
Oh yeah.
So, and then we can get into all the various debate and criticisms afterwards. But that is definitely going to be our movie review where we both will have seen it by the time we talk about it.
Oh yeah, definitely it's going to have a lot of talking points.
Oh man, that'll probably be a whole episode by itself. Alrighty. Oh, so
get ready for the special episode of Star Wars.
I almost kind of like that.
What is odd and what is ending? Hopefully nothing is
Odds
ending.
and Ends is a collection of stories where we look at them, we make a couple of comments and thoughts, and we just steamroll right through. It's kind of rapid fire. What's our impressions? What's our thoughts? What's our opinions?
Let's see if Ry Guy can rapid fire and not fear away today.
All right, lock and load. Here we go.
Boom. Let's go.
I got this split up into 3 sections.
I see that. I like that too.
First section, Marvel news. Venom 2, Naomi Harris in talks to play Spider-Man villain Shriek. Thoughts and impressions.
As reported on IGN, she is supposedly going to come and play another prominent symbiote villain in the second film, on top of the one we already know, Woody Harrelson as Carnage.
Oh, yeah. But to see her as Shriek and have Carnage and Shriek,
I think it'd be a good balance. Shriek isn't a character I'm very well known, but I would assume she's not as crazy as Carnage. So maybe
she's worse.
Okay, so
she's worse, and she has the ability to emit sound and affect people's minds in the Maximum Carnage comics. And when we talk with Penumbra again, I'm sure he'll elaborate. But in that, she had the ability to affect the minds of New Yorkers, to just cause this riot.
Yeah, I'm just with learning that just now, I think the dynamic's going to be insane with Carnage, who's crazy on one end, and then Shriek crazy on another with that sound ability.
When I think of Woody Harrelson as Carnage, I think back to when Woody Harrelson did Natural Born Killers.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah, if you can capture that and not do what he did in that clip at the end of Venom, yeah, I'd rather do Natural Born Killer Harrelson as Carnage.
Alrighty. Next item in Marvel news. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness taps screenwriter Jade Bartlett.
Yeah, as reported on IGN as well, Jade Bartlett is being tapped to do a rewrite of the Doctor Strange film.
Alright. Now, what do we know about Jade Bartlett?
Bartlett bursted on the scenes with a script for Miller Girl, which landed a place, quote, on 2006 blacklist of best unproduced screenplays, unquote.
All right. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of having to rewrite the script this close to production. That seems a little.
Well, it happens. The thing is that when rewrites happen, everybody thinks it's a bad thing, but they happen all the time, and they're usually planned. It's just a matter of who they tap.
Oh, there's plenty of stories when they filmed Lord of the Rings. It was like they'd have rewrites that would go literally right before the scene. Here's the piece of paper with your lines for this scene. They kind of roll through that.
But I guess Bartlett's different quirks combined with Derrickson's horror background, it'll probably be a good mix.
I'm still in line for that one.
Oh,
All
yes.
right.
Moving
on. Next section. DC news.
DC, what we got down in
All
DC?
right. Let's see. Black Adam. Dwayne Johnson reveals July 2020 production start.
Another.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. What, he was tapped to play Black Adam like 3 centuries ago?
Dude, he's producing this
Yeah.
one.
I don't understand why it took so long, especially with the big name that Dwayne Johnson is, but hey, he did report, as listed on IGN, quote, "This project has been with me for over 10 years. Production begins this July. Appreciate the support," end quote.
Yes. Alrighty. Next item. Well, 10 years.
That's what he said. It's been 10 years he's been trying to work on it, so...
Well, let's just hope it's busy scheduling, but let's hope it's well worth the wait.
Okay.
Alrighty, next item. Batman movie casts Paul Dano as Edward Nashton, which I think they meant Edward Nygma,
Oh, yeah.
a.k.a. the Riddler.
Yeah, they might be changing up his name for the movie, but we all know who the Riddler is, and we all know him to be a very iconic villain in the
Who
Rogue
was
Gallery.
portrayed by Jim Carrey the last time we saw Riddler on live action screen.
Yeah, Jim Carrey took a very interesting take on the character, but because of Joel Schumacher as the director, you kind of see why. Yeah, but
to me, it felt like just a regular Jim Carrey role. It didn't, or his whole slapstick shtick.
Yeah, it felt like I was just watching Ace Ventura in green tights. Yeah, but
not my favorite representation. I always thought of Nygma as somebody who was a little more mature, but then again, I just like the way his style was in Batman the Animated Series, as opposed to what we see with that.
Oh yeah,
Hell, even the version of him that was in the Batman,
yeah,
is preferable to Jim Carrey in my opinion.
even like the version that was in Gotham too, because it gave a layering of depth and
he was
psychoanalysis of 2 different personalities.
Very much so.
Veering back, Dano, as quoted on IGN, is best known for his roles in There Will Be Blood, 12 Years a Slave, and the Showtime series Escape at Dannemora, in which he earned an Emmy nomination, end quote. So
given the cast they're putting together for this, it sounds like this might actually be a very serious film. So
some of the other characters, Selena Kyle being cast with Zoe Kravitz and Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon.
Yes.
So this is definitely a big cast indeed.
Alrighty. Alright, next thing, Crisis on Infinite Earth crossover in the CW reveals the first look at the Anti-Monitor.
As Screen Rat posted, they posted the first picture of Anti-Monitor, and he definitely looks very eerie. Not knowing too much about it, he does scare me to the GBDBs.
So, yeah, I'm curious. They're doing a lot of lead-up right now. If you're following the CW Arrowverse, they're doing... Every episode, they're leading up for this Crisis event. So this should be quite fascinating as we get closer to it.
So what do you think about the concept of how they're designing the Anti-Monitor for this series? Since you follow this series a lot
I follow it more. I do. I see it. I think it fits because if you've seen his brother, which I can't remember his name right now, but you see the two of them. You can definitely tell it's just okay. Here's you can see the difference, but you can also see that they are very similar. You can tell that they're brothers, except for some subtleties. But given how much of an impact that story was, I think they're gonna. I'm looking forward to seeing the final result. All right, next thing. And this doesn't quite. It's just a bunch of really cool kind of movie, TV, and travel news. Let's start with Ghostbusters 2020 is officially done filming.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yes, it is officially done filming as reported on Screen. Yeah. Directed by Jason Reitman, which is the son of the original director. So.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm glad that they finally finished that one.
The only thing I'm really hoping for is that the rumored cameos of all the original cast coming back. So, it'll be interesting to see if that. But I know the main lead is going to be Paul Rudd. So, we do have a good actor in the row.
Paul Rudd's good.
Yeah.
So that should be a lot of fun. He's got an old comedy vibe, kind of like how the original trilogy was,
He gives that good layering.
or original series was. Alrighty, next up, Edge of Tomorrow 2. Script is complete. Doug Liman confirms. Wait, a sequel to this?
Yeah, when the first one came out, Edge of Tomorrow, it was one where people kind of ignored, but it bubbled on the surface as a hit. It was very much a surprise hit for a lot of people out there because people expected it to be terrible. But it basically, I mean, the story is Groundhog Day, but with sci-fi elements.
I thought it was actually pretty well done.
Yeah, it was actually one of my favorite films of that year. It surprised me. Tom Cruise was excellent in the film, and the story was just unimaginably
It was
good.
simple.
Yeah.
The story was so simple.
It was very simple, it was very tight, and the direction was focused from beginning to middle to end. It had a point, and it made its point done.
Yeah, it didn't try to exposition much. It didn't leave a lot of loose threads. Boom. All right. Sad news.
Wah.
Cowboy Bebop. Netflix series halts production after John Cho injured on set.
Yeah.
I hope he's feeling better.
This kind of hurts my soul, because as you know, I'm a big fan of Cowboy Bebop, the animation. So.
Did you see the little video they put where it was Corgi Cam?
Oh yeah, I saw the little Corgi cam, and I was so delightful. It got me excited to see it, but now we're not going to see it for quite a while.
Well, let's hope the injury's not too bad. Do we get an idea of what the injury was? Or
As
just
reported, as Deadline reports on IGN's article, quote, production on Cowboy Bebop is expected to shut down for 7 to 9 months due to star John Cho suffering a serious knee injury during film, end quotes.
Oof.
So it was a freak accident while filming, and they just started filming, so it was the first week of filming. So.
Alrighty. Alright. So, next up is a bit of anime news.
Anime.
Alright. Studio Galib?
Ghibli.
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 See? I tried.
Yeah.
Jiggly.
Films will finally be available to stream exclusively on HBO Max.
This is a big haul for this new streaming.
Why is this a
platform.
big haul for that streaming platform?
Okay, because in the anime world, Studio Ghibli is known for creating some of the best animated films out there.
Are we talking like Kiki's Delivery Service?
Yes. So all of the films will be listed on there, and like you said, Kiki's Delivery Service is one of the big ones. Some of the other big known
Howl's
ones.
Moving Castle.
Yeah.
It feels like it's the same style of anime.
Oh yeah, so you have Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away, and my personal favorite from their studio is Princess Mononoke.
Sweet. So, HBO Max. Alright.
Yeah, it's another streaming service out there, so it's another dollar in the bucket. But they do have stuff on there you do want to watch.
Oh, I am so sure. I think we'll have to do a opinion on these various streaming services as they come out.
Oh yeah.
Check them out for a month, see if we like them, go from there. Alright, and our last thing on odds and ends is a bit of travel, which I'm taking this as also a bit of inspiration for a future adventure.
It is a big thing, and it's something that I came across that I thought it was very unique, odd, but very just eye-popping.
I got one more after this, which is a kind of something we skipped over, but
Yeah.
let's quickly sidetrack.
Okay.
Couple weeks ago, you sent me a story that I felt was just so off the wall weird.
Which one was that? Because I like to click
It
bait
had
and
to
fall in the rabbit
deal.
hole.
It was something. It was
a lot
something
of
that
them.
Angelica pointed out, and that was that thing about the sneakers. The $3,000 walk-on-water sneakers.
Yes. Wow. Like,
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
yeah, that's
I paid $3,000 for a pair of shoes with water in it so I can walk on water. Really? Really?
Yeah, it's $3,000 of Nike. Supposedly, it's being blessed with holy water and all the little shenanigans that is religious imbued. So, you're supposed to be blessed away with $3,000.
If that's something you're into collecting, cool. I just can't with this.
That's a when you come across an article like that, you just think about. People do invest in hobbies; they do collect things, but $3,000 for a pair of sneakers, I think that's a little
gimmicky pair of
yeah.
sneakers.
There's no use of them; they're just there to be.
No. What gets me is not so much that these shoes have water and that's been blessed by a priest.
Yeah.
It's $3,000.
I should be able to fly in these shoes, literally. But
all
that's
right.
all hearsay.
So, down the rabbit hole, back to something else. It's like this was a bit of travel news coming off of CNN. Ancient lost city of Khmer Empire uncovered in Cambodia.
Oh yeah, so researchers used aerial lasers and ground-based survey to map
The section of Cambodia.
Yeah, Mahendrapatara, or the mountains of Indria, king of the gods. So they found where the first capital of the Khmer Empire was, which, quote, lasted from the 9th century to the 15th century AD, end quote.
So I'm taking all this. I feel is inspiring because if you do an adventure, a jungle type adventure, of drawing inspiration from these things, but that's just cool. It's almost like that story of where the guy who hey, I'm going to read the Iliad and the Odyssey, and I'm going to figure out where Troy actually was.
Oh yeah, it's these kind of discoveries around the world that help build upon our own human history, but as well as add more to how things were during certain times.
Yeah.
So it opens the door to the different kind of sophisticated systems of how things were there, because they discovered that they had a sophisticated hydraulic system where they moved things around, and very strong urban planning. Mm-hmm. So it makes you wonder, in today's 21st century, where a lot of things are considered sophisticated, they were doing things this centuries and centuries ago, and we're just uncovering them now.
And we still can't even put it together in the same quality that they did. Alrighty, so that's all of that.
Yeah.
That means it's we're done. We're ready to transition.
Transition to a better life, better white.
I don't know about that.
Better something. Let's go forward.
Yep. So we'll run our victory music. Hey, I'm getting better at these soundboard things, man.
Press the button and hear the sounds. Whoosh.
The behind-the-scenes person is not enjoying that music.
Saladin, keep quiet.
Well, the other one's copyrighted, but we all know that. We all know the tune.
Dun, dun, dun.
See?
Done.
Alrighty, so
10 grand.
Lawsuit.
let's go ahead and do our contact info, and you can follow the show at facebook.com/Scuba Studio. That's where you find information about Scuba and The Ry and any other info about any other shows that are in the process. You can, you can send us feedback, questions, comments, concerns at scubasstudio@gmail.com. Go and put Scuba and The Ry in the subject. Also, you can if you follow the show, you like the show, and you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/Scuba Studio. Check it out. If you're a Patreon member, you get exclusive access and early access to all episodes and shows, as well as some input on future shows that are being piloted and developed. You can follow me at ScubaCod on Twitter. I did. That's an update from my previous one. I was trying to make it easier for everybody to find me if they wanted to find me. Hopefully you do. What about you, Ry? Where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at IncubusTrav. Message, like, send a friend request.
And as always, you can find the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Castbox, YouTube, Podbean. Check us out. Give us a like. Give us a review. Send us your feedback. We love you all. Have a good weekend.
And peace.